everyone. This is Luca Majno. I'm back here again with Frank Gregory Ford. This is Global News Update on TLV TV, courtesy of the Liberty Beacon Project, where we bring you complete, backstage, up-to-date info as to the developments occurring in our world today. And yeah, backstage, up-to-date info as to the developments occurring in our world today. Well, I'm still not over 9/11, Greg. Permission to start this show with 9/11, if you don't mind?
Oh, hey, one of my favorite topics.
Well, I just want people to sink this one in, because Greg, you yourself have used the words "son of a bitch" in referring to a Dick Cheney. I have a really good picture of him here with the village idiot, and he's looking at him sideways. It's like, you can just smell it when you know something's going on behind the scenes, and you know the scope of 9/11, and you start to really do your research. It starts to be really, really apparent. The players like Dick Cheney and, yes, Netanyahu, we call him Bibi because we love him, right? It says here, we are benefiting from one thing, and that is the attack on the world, on the Twin Towers and the Pentagon and the American struggle in Iraq. Remember him? You remember Bibi saying that the 9/11 attack was good for Israel?
Oh yes.
You got to put the pieces together. And why is it? And I'm going to say this again, and I'm going to keep saying it, just like what truth does. It keeps repeating itself over and over until people get it. Why is it? And this is courtesy of Bolin.com, by the way. Christopher Bolin sends us this for a snapshot today. Why is it that for years Netanyahu and Silverstein were, they kept in close touch. They were always calling each other every Sunday afternoon, always calling each other. They never missed a Sunday, right? It's things like that put the pieces together. And there's Rockefeller saying, all we need is the right major crisis, and the nations will accept a new world order. Okay? Remember how he said, like, a new Pearl Harbor, in the PNAC document? Well, look at this. New Pearl Harbor, old Pearl Harbor. And the old Pearl Harbor was exactly the same thing, if we need to remind anybody. December 7th, 1941. And no, it wasn't the day of infamy. They planned it for 6 weeks. Hello? And what does Hillary have to do with all this? Greg gave us some insight into Hillary's role on the last show. Let's compare Hillary Clinton's phony email scandal and Dick Cheney's fetish for secrecy, shall we? So I want to finish this snapshot very quickly with this picture of the village idiot and Bandar Bush holding hands.
Bandar Bush.
Okay, holding hands. And I'm going to steal your line, Greg. They were smoking cigars within 48 hours of the attack. While the Pentagon was still smoldering across the Potomac, they were smoking cigars on the White House veranda celebrating. Okay? Think of that when you look at this picture. And that concludes my snapshot today, because I'm going to get really upset if I start going on and on and on about this. I have a gorgeous picture of what the Twin Towers used to look like from the bottom up, razor close to the edge, which I'm showing now. And it's something to think about, because if we allow this, then they're laughing at us, and they'll just think that they can do anything they want against us. And Greg, you have good news. You have something really good that you want to tell us. I can't wait to hear it. And welcome to the show.
Okay. Sure. Well, thank you. Okay. Yes. What is it, Luca? Maybe the listeners can answer this. What is it about sinking ships every time we want to start a war? Okay. What was it in World War I? Well, before the turn of the 20th century, we had Remember the Maine, an American battleship that supposedly hit a mine in Havana Harbor and blew up. Most of the Maine is still there. And if you want evidence of the Maine, you can go to the Arlington Cemetery and see the crow's nest in the Maine. I've been there, put my hands on it myself. Okay. And then, what happens in World War I? The Lusitania. Yeah. Okay. And just last week, they uncovered plenty of munitions. Okay. Yes, this American ship was carrying munitions. And I have a strong suspicion that the Bush family was involved in that, of course. And everybody's going to roll their eyes and say, oh, come on, Greg, give us a break. World War I, okay, the last honorable war. Well, first of all, folks, there is no such thing as an honorable war.
Thank you.
Okay, here's why. It's because the plutocrats, okay, and the autocrats, they love war. Okay, if they don't have to go out and fight it, or none of their worthless children have to go out and fight it, then they love it. Okay, hey, it gets rid of a bunch of unemployed lamebos and lazy ones. Okay, and it's good for the economy. Are we seeing a pattern forming here, folks? Okay, that was Titania. Okay, and then we go to World War II, as in what we're seeing now. Hey, it works like a charm. Sink a few ships, no problem. Piece of cake.
USS Liberty?
Oh, yes, right. I'm getting around to the Liberty.
Okay.
Piece of cake. Pearl Harbor. Pearl Harbor. Okay. Where have we heard that in conjunction with 9/11? All right. All-consuming world war. Hey, last time I checked, the Bush family made a gazillion dollars off of here. And I'll point this out. Rhineland-Westphalia Electric. RWE, all right, they made a gazillion dollars. And IG Farben, guess who pays the Bush family royalties for Cyclone B?
Right.
Okay, the entire pharmaceutical line and chemical patents of Cyclone B. Hey, it's just cool or what? Samuel Bush provides all the weapons, okay, as in great-grandpa, okay, sells all the weapons for the American soldiers in World War I. And then, World War II comes along, and there's, what was it, Prescott Bush. I got to keep these dirtbags and criminals in line here, okay? Prescott Bush, then he turns right around, and what does he do? Okay, he's selling to the Germans. He's selling so American kids can get slaughtered. Gun cotton and Cooper's metals to start out, okay? And then we won't mention nerve gas. Gee, where have we heard nerve gas? As in Iraq, okay? And then, okay, what happens next, okay? Let me see. Yeah, right. We've got, okay, like I said, never a dull moment. As long as there's a Navy, U.S. Navy, willing to sacrifice itself, okay, for national policy and to help the plutocrats make big bucks, no problem. Just remember that, all you mothers, all you parents out there listening to the show, you don't want to raise your child to grow up to be a dead airman, a dead sailor, or a dead soldier. Okay, that's what's going to happen to them. So somebody else can make a whole lot of money. All right? Well, yes. Okay, something else did happen. There was something else. What was it called? The Essex, destroyer Essex. Okay, in the Tonkin Gulf.
Right.
I believe it. And the Tonkin Gulf, well, sorry, folks, my memory isn't all what it should be, because remember, when I filed charges to stop the torture that was going on, remember, I was tortured myself with mind-destroying drugs, okay? There we go. So, yes, I believe it was the Essex. And the Essex, okay, was, as one of the seamen told me, okay, on the Essex, it goes like this. There was nothing in the Tonkin Gulf. Nobody fired a single shot at anybody. But surprise, hey, 100,000 people later, yes, Vietnam War, 100,000 dead. Forget the 60,000, 100,000 dead, okay? And then what happens? LBJ, Lyndon Baines Johnson, had his construction companies, his family's construction companies there, making money and cutting roads in Vietnam, okay, and setting up supply depots and plowing fertile ground. You don't believe me? Just ask Lady Bird Johnson, okay? Now, gee, funny thing, it was a ship again, right? Okay, and then what happens? Okay, but that was a destroyer, a lightweight destroyer, okay? And then what happens a few years later? Let's start a war in the Middle East, okay? with LBJ still at the helm, Lyndon Baines Johnson still at the helm, and I have in my library the Oval Office film of him saying, "I want that goddamn ship on the bottom of the sea." Mm-hmm. Well, they should release that film to all the parents and the survivors of the Liberty, okay? Survivors of the Liberty, okay? And I just saw it last night, by the way. I just saw film footage of the Israelis saying, "Ha, ha, ha, laugh, laugh, laugh." Guess what? If that was a spy ship, it was spying, and it deserved everything it got. This is the Israelis talking about spying, okay, and sinking our boats, pulling up right next to it, as our sailors were leaping off on fire to get unfired, okay, into the ocean. They were leaping into the ocean. They were being machine gunned with American-made IBS, inflatable boat systems, and also they were being machine gunned by U.S. manufactured 50 caliber machine guns, Browning machine guns, okay, that we gave to the Israelis to help them survive, of course, okay? Yeah, there's film footage of that, all right? How does that make anybody feel, okay, about all the care and support that we've given Israel, okay? And then, yeah, okay, so then we've got that, all right? So how many basic wars, how many ships have been sunk and dealt with, okay, like that, all right? I've lost count, okay? I've lost count. But all I know is I don't want my children going off to fight any more wars because I can't figure out who's making the money off of it, okay? We're talking about North Korea now. Is that ridiculous? What does that make? Instead of 11 wars, which I've been telling our listeners, does that make 12 wars that we're going to have going on? Okay. Now, hey, you got to give it to Pee-wee, okay, in North Korea. Hey, he knows what the time of day it is. He's nobody's fool, okay? And he knows exactly where it's going to start. It's not going to start on the soil of North Korea. If there's going to be a war, they're going to start in the ocean. Guess what? North Korean submarines are moving around, trying to take up defensive positions. As I'm saying this, okay, and we're trying to figure out how we can get these overpriced pieces of scrap iron floated up to, the ones that can't seem to avoid anybody in the world. They keep getting rammed. Okay, how many sailors have died in the last few months? 40, 50? I don't know. You can't ask our government for an answer because they'll lie to you just as soon as not tell you. Okay, so that's what we have here. Yeah, folks, I've said no more wars until we get answers to 9/11. And by the way, I'm going to do something to help us get answers to 9/11. Okay, since my court case, since the U.S. Supreme Court absolutely refused, they took the coward's way out, which they always do. Okay, especially on a controversial case. Remember what they did with George W. Bush and the people of Florida saying, "Hey, we smell a rat, a big one." Okay, and the brother of Florida was the governor, and the legal counsel in the state of Florida was another Bush. Okay. Yeah. No wonder the people smelled a rat. Okay. Well, guess what? I'm smelling one again, and I smelled one when the Supreme Court said no, we won't listen to your case. Hey, who was the victim here? Who had their rights abrogated? I thought the Supreme Court was supposed to take cases for abrogation of civil rights, okay, and human rights while we're at it, okay? Minor detail. I was the one who was strapped to a stretcher. I was the one who warned us to knock off the industrialized state-sponsored torture that we were inflicting on the Iraqis. What does the Supreme Court say? It says if we grant me a hearing on this case, it'll open the floodgates.
You're damn right.
So what? So what? What is the Supreme Court there for? Okay. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this really more entertaining. Okay. I know your folks are saying, "Oh yeah, this is all hearsay. He doesn't know what he's talking about." I saw a CIA attack on me 2 days ago. Oh, ha, ha, ha. Laugh, laugh, laugh. That's what they went on. Oh, this guy's a fake. He's a phony. He's a fraud.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to do it for the CIA too, all right? The Cocaine Importation Agency, I'm going to do it for them. I'm going to start making excerpts from my court case available to our watchers, okay? So yes, you can see I had the guts, to step forward and say, look, there were weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. And
maybe we can put them on the screen so people can see them, certain parts of them.
Right. Well, I'm going to send them to you, and then you can put them up there as an exhibit, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because, hey, there is no more court case now, all right? Hey, I can do anything I want. And I'll tell you, folks, one of the last things that the government wants you to do is actually express yourself on media, okay? If you've got a problem, they want you to go to one of the 6 controlled media networks, and so they can whitewash or completely cover up anything you have to say. Well, unfortunately, we don't have that here. We have a privately owned media system,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Guess what, CIA? You lost that one, didn't you? Okay? And I'm going to show your listeners where it says in print, in court case documents, yes, there were weapons of mass destruction. Yes, I was abducted, strapped to a stretcher, and tortured when I tried to file war crimes charges. Yes, you're going to see it in court documents.
Don't forget to circle. Don't forget to circle them.
Oh yeah. Well, I know a certain without casting any disparagements, that a certain number of people are graduates from the Leave No Imbecile Behind program,
right?
Introduced by George Bush. George and Barbara, those 2 great academicians, okay?
So, Greg,
yes.
let me guess. The amount of court case papers you have will not fit into the largest U-Haul that they have, right?
1 ton. They're 1 ton. So, what I'm going to do is take the most dramatic, okay, the most pointed, the most concise, and I'm going to send them to you, Luca, so you can post them for all our listeners. This is a reward for our listeners watching us and paying attention to what we say, all right? And like I said, everybody, especially the agency, I read what the agency had to do with the attack on me, okay? Ha, 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 laugh, laugh, hearsay, what a bunch of nonsense. This guy's crazy, okay? Well, I'll let our listeners make up their minds, okay, when they see official documentation of like the weapons of mass destruction and their serial numbers and who was brokering those weapons of mass destruction. Mm-hmm. Right, Mr. Bush? Right, Hoppy? Okay. I think yes, we should show the American people all of this case. Okay. There was a reason why they were so freaked out. The Supreme Court actually sealed, when this was under hearing, they actually sealed the case. They didn't want to getting out. Well, guess what? It's not in the case now. It's not in the courtroom now. And you folks, all the listeners, can see what caused the United States Supreme Court to seal the case, okay, originally. All right? You're going to see that. Ha ha, laugh, laugh. Okay? We'll see who gets the last laugh this time, Supreme Court, okay? And the wonderful, benevolent Bush family, with their cocaine importation agency. Okay, I think it's great. All right, so we're going to be getting you those documents, and then we'll see what goes on. Okay, we'll see what the opinions are of people when they can see it in black and white. Pardon the pun. It's definitely black and white.
Well, I'm really looking forward to that, Greg. In a world where telling the truth is getting more and more dangerous, and I mean, it's one thing to know, it's one thing, when I was researching about big pharma and I was researching vaccines, and they simply say good luck in winning a case against big pharma or whatever. That's one thing. But when you hear it from the horse's mouth, which is you or somebody close to you, how the Supreme Court is controlled. The government tells the Supreme Court what to do. So the Supreme Court will not touch Greg's case because it's too real, it's too pertinent. There are too many people that went through that, and they cannot afford to do that. So they just won't touch it. So now that gives you the right, because it is your stuff, right? It's in your it's in your possession, so you can do whatever you want with it because it's not it doesn't have anything to do with the court system. That's wonderful.
That's right. I confirmed that today.
It's a great idea.
And so, yeah. And so anyway, you know, I want everybody to look at this and see court numbers, see dates when these decisions were made and so forth, to find out, yes, it really did exist. Okay. You know, unlike the greatest terrorist attack, quote, terrorist attack in the U.S. history, guess who was responsible? I want people to see what I'm talking about. I want them to read my court case. And in fact, I'll be giving them the number so they can look it up, go online and look it up.
We already did that. We already did pass the that picture, that screenshot of you in the court case. But that'll be fun. We can make a snapshot out of that, perhaps, or more than one, by the sounds of it.
Oh, absolutely. That is, I'll show you. It's not fake news. Okay.
Exactly.
That's everywhere I go now. That's all I hear. Well, you want some real news, folks? Guess what? You can read about it in the courtroom. Okay. Official historical document you get to read about. Okay. And yes, you'll find out who sold weapons of mass destruction to Saddam Hussein. Yes, you'll find out who briefed who about 9/11 and how many months before, okay, that happened. All right?
Well,
You'll
we better
get to see that. It's in court documents.
We better hurry up and do it quick, because if they're listening.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I had my show the other day when I was talking Eastern Europe. My show the other day when I was talking about certain types of beams. Okay, particle beams, you know, laser beams, that kind of thing, you know, directed plasma beams. You know, I was talking about that. I was told by one of our other hosts that that guess what, folks? The CIA had completely blanked out my half of the show, and NSA had blocked it out. Okay, so I'm gonna be transmitting after your show, Luca, about what type of beams that were used to bring down and weaken the system of the World Trade Center. Okay, dustification. Remember that name, dustification. Guess what caused that? It wasn't a passenger plane smashing into the building, the North Tower, okay, or the South Tower, that caused the dustification. And by the way, anybody that wants to see what school I went to, okay, to find out about how to talk about this stuff cogently, lucidly, all right? Hey, ask the federal government about the same school that Timothy McVeigh, okay, Timothy McVeigh went to. You know, he wasn't some pointless, you know, lame loser, okay, didn't have anything better to do one day and decided to blow up a building. Guess who, okay, and guess where he went to for education on this subject matter? Timothy McVeigh. Look him up. Okay?
Yes.
All right, folks. Yeah.
Final words, Greg? Final words, because I'm sorry we're at the end of the show already. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, like I said, hey, you know, be looking forward to our documented shows. Okay? It'll give me a couple of weeks to get it all together, but hey, we're going to have it to our folks. That's the least I could do to for our loyal listeners. All right.
We're looking forward to it, and on future shows, we're gonna probably add that to add Snapshot to that and do it that way, because it's important. And this is just, you know, validation. You know, that's all it is. It's validation of what we're doing and what we're talking about, and it's truth. So this is not opinion either. You have to make a very big distinction, very clear distinction between.
Well, it's a validation to the 20,000 people that have died now since 9/11, trying to fight for our country and fight for something that they truly believed in, okay? And the 3,000 that were dead in the towers that had a horrible death, okay? And I really want family members to watch the show that I sent out with its documentation, okay? And as a last word, just remember this, folks. There's a reason why the CIA is attacking me, all right? And I will give you the sites to where you can go to and look that up. There are attacks on me personally, all right? But hey, not only do they attack me, but they also attack my family, okay? They attack my Native American background, all right? They actually investigated my Native American background, Okay,
Mm.
because there's nothing the CIA detests worse than having a minority member in government service.
Mm.
They hate it. They hate it. And if you think I'm joking, go look to see how they perceive Black Lives Matter. Okay, look to see how they perceive that. They detest it. Okay, so yes, you folks are going to see how the CIA has treated me. Okay, who went to fight for you. All right, went to fight terrorism. Okay, and how they treated me after 30 years, how they treated me. So you folks are going to see it. Okay, thank you again, Luca.
Let me finish the show with something very, very upsetting. And I got to say this on the show too, because it's heart-wrenching to go into a gas station. You're not thinking of anything. You're thinking of getting your show ready, right? But you're going in the gas station to pay something, and you come across a pamphlet that says how cool it is to be in the U.S. Army, and it shows the guy holding a huge, semi-automatic, and he's got the helmet on. He's got the suit on. It's like, good day to kill someone, and that's all you think of. And the anger that I got reminds me of what Thomas Tibbles, the reporter for Wounded Knee, in 1890, when he saw his own troops and what they did to the Indians, he said he got that rage and anger inside of him, and that anger at his government for what they did. And it's exactly the same thing that I felt today when I saw that, and I brought it home so I could show everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So until next time.
Well, excellent, Luca. Thank you.
Yes,
All
and
right.
we'll talk again. Thanks again.
All right. My pleasure.